Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. Today we're gonna check out the new Excel data model and how you can create pivot tables without using the VLOOKUP function. Check it out! The first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna transform these two sheets into tables as intelligent tables in order to work properly with this data model.
So guys, what we got here is a map with two sheets. You see orders down here and categories. You check out the fields with order date, with a product number, a name, return. Here's an amount, just will correct this for you guys. Then with the salesperson and the category code. Now, in this so-called main table, we got all this information here. You see here are the products and the return, salesperson, and with this category code. And over there in the second sheet we got categories, and here we also got category codes. And you see immediately in this sheet here we have this category code unique, so it just appears one time. It's like a code primary key. And here, of course, we have the category code multiple times. Now, in order to get this information here, the categories here into this main table to create the pivot table, normally you would have to use the VLOOKUP function, which is kind of a nice function, but you know, it's big data and you can make some errors, and big data you can get kind of slow. Now, what you can do is you connect. Now, first, what we're going to do is we will transform these two sheets into tables. So I go here, then I go to home, I say format as tables, as you guys will know. I pick a medium style like this, and now I got this, you know, these guys. Now, very important here, in table design, I go to table 1 and rename it like orders, so I give it the appropriate name, it's very important. And the same stuff here, I go to categories, you know, I go here, home, format as table. I can also press Ctrl T for table, that's a shortcut. Now, so I confirm this one, and of course this one I will rename it, I will call it category, or categories. Very important, if you pick a name, just pick one word, don't use a blank, or don't use other stuff like point or columns, stuff like this, slash, backslash. Just pick one word. Now, so what we got now is we had this stuff together
without the VLOOKUP function in order to create a pivot table with these two sheets as a source.
So now that we transformed these two sheets into intelligent tables, we will now connect these two sheets without the VLOOKUP function. So in order to do this, we go to data, and in the meantime there are multiple ways to do this. I will show you guys the manual way because I want you guys to understand the structure behind this. So I go here to relationships. Very important. This only works if the two sheets, both of them, formatted as a table, which you did earlier. Now I go to relationships, and what I'm going to do here is I create a new relationship between these two tables. So on the first time, you see, just pick it from the left to the right. Table, column foreign, rated table, and primary. Now the table with the foreign key is the one with the orders. Now I will gonna pick a category code because this is the common field. And I pick it here for foreign because this is the table where the category code, you see it, you will see it multiple times. So it's kind of the main table here. And the other one, the rated table, is the category, and the column is the category code. So this is the common field. In this table here, we have it here as a foreign key, and in the other one, we have it as a primary key. Now, if I confirm this now, it's going to work if there's no message. Okay. Perfect. Now I can see it here. If I want to see it again, I just double click and see the relationship. Now the relationship is created. In order to, for you guys to check it out, you know, you can go here to this here, go to the Power Pivot window. Now an additional window opens up. This is the so-called data model or Power Pivot, which is one or the other. Power Pivot is the data model. Now check it out here. You see the two tables here. And if I go here to diagram view, this is this relationship I just created, as a visual proof here. And this is kind, you know it from kind of databases. You see here this common field category code. You see here 1, and this asterisk, it means 1 to n, because this here is the primary key, and this one is the formal key. And this kind of structure you always have in the companies you can use.
We can start to get our hands dirty. We're going to create this pivot table with these 2 sheets as a source without having to use the VLOOKUP function. Check it out!
And now it's time to work with pivot. In order to do this, I'm here in table design. I just pick here summarize with pivot table. And then very important is this radio button here. Use this workbook's data model, because this is what we did. Now if I pick on the radio button and I confirm, the pivot table, here we call it here, pivot, opens up with the appropriate field list, as we guys know. And very important is this here, all. See here, all. Now we have both tables in our pivot table field list without having to connect them with the VLOOKUP. And now, of course, I can go here, I can go to orders, for example. Now, see, I can pick the salesperson name, I can pick the amount, for example. Now, very important, if I want to format this, I make a right click and I pick number format, and then I go to currency, for example, without decimal places, and I have the amounts for the salesperson. And now, of course, I can go here and pick the category, see, like this. And because I have this data model, I can now use both tables as the source for my pivot table, like these categories here. And then, of course, I can go here to design. I can pick up the subtotals at the top of the group. And it's time now, for example, for a tip, because I can go here to, for example, to salesperson. I right-click it, and then I pick Add a Slicer. Add a Slicer. See, the slicer comes in. Now, the slicer has his own rhythm over here. I can go here and I can, do like this. And then I say 3 columns, for example. And I get this slicer here with my salesperson here, like this. And then, of course, I could go here to the field list and right-click here on categories, for example. And add a second slicer. I will adjust it right now, like this. For example, I pick up this same look and feel and pick 3 columns. So, if you do this, guys, you will have kind of a dashboards for your convenience. And now I have these 2 slices here. Now I can check out Buchanan, Callahan, Peacock, beverages, pasta, cheese, all this appropriate stuff here with these slices in order to filter. And additionally, of course, I could go here in the pivot table, and then I go back to Analyze. Here's the place where you can insert the slicer on the ribbon. I did it here on the right click. And now I can insert Timeline. Timeline is a kind of a slicer, but just for date fields. See? Date fields, the order date. In order to do this, I go here, and now this timeline appears. And you can adjust it just as you know it from the slicer, so it's pretty cool. I will pick this dark theme here, then here I go back to, let's say, the years. This is called for years, and then I go here, and I can pick it up. See, I can say 2009 for Buchanan, Callahan, and Devolio, for candy, cheese, and spices, for example. This combination here has a grand total of 2071, and 5 seconds later I can check out King, Dodsworth, Peacock, Leveling for beverages, for natural products, and let's say for candy for 2011. And this is this amount here, 1,113 euro. So with this slicer and with this timeline, you now can manipulate your data, but it's not just one table you manipulate, it's both, because you have these 2 tables connected here with this data model in order to do this.
Now that we've created the pivot table, we can do such more cool things like pivot charts or calculations without having to use an editor or formula.
So now we have this pivot table now, and then we can get some more cool things to do work around with. For example, I have this 2 slices, I have this timeline. Now what I'm going to do is, I will remove this field list for just a couple of seconds, and then I will rearrange here my slices here like this. So I can, you know, work with the salesperson, I can work with the category, and I also have this timeline over here. I can also go, for example, for quarters or years. Now, see, I will adjust this a little bit just like this, and maybe I can just go here and reduce it a little bit more. And another thing is, when I click here and I just show the field list, you know, guys, you know, in pivot, as we all know, with the rows here and with the columns. Now, right here, both fields are in the rows, so they're grouped, as we know. Now, what I'm going to do is, I click here, and then I go to Analyze, and I pick Pivot Chart. Now, if I pick Pivot Chart, I can pick a kind of a chart type, like this clustered column here. I confirm. Now, this chart comes up, see? And what happens now is that you will see it here. I click here in the pivot table. We have the rows and the columns. See here you have the both information also in the chart here on the axis. Now if I click into the chart on the other hand, however, here we got axis and legend. Now if I pick this categories here and drag and drop it into legend instead of this chart, now check out what happens. The chart is much more better to read, and in background the categories were removed into the columns. So if you check it out here, this is our table. If I click here, we have rows and columns, and here the rows is the axis and the column is the legend for the chart. Now, as I have this here now, I can now go to my chart here, and I can start to work. You know, I can say, okay, I want to see W, Fuller, leveling, Buchanan, for natural products, for candy, for sausages, for example. And then I go here and I want to check it out for 2009, for example. If you check it out here, this combination from a graphical standpoint here, Buchanan, for example, he's got the cheese here in the series, his best sales amount. Here, Davoli is the same stuff here. Fuller is kind of, you know, equal and leveling, but if you, for example, if we go to 2010, then we'll see a significant difference in the insights from the previous year. So this is a pivot chart. You can do it anytime. You just need a pivot table, and then you can work with the slices, with the timeline, just as you do with pivot tables. Now, the other thing is this. I know I will reset this filter now, and also will reset this timeline over there. And then, of course, I will remove this chart. Now, the one last thing for you guys is the following. So I got this here and this stuff. Now what I'm gonna do is now I'm gonna remove this category from the pivot table field list. See this? And now see I have only the salesperson here and this amount here. Now that's pretty cool and nice. Now what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna pick the amount here a second time, and then you know I drag and drop it here into the value section, and the amount comes up the second time. Now you guys will see what's the meaning of this. Now first of all, I could go here and I could call it like partial amount, for example, and then I can go here and say amounts from total. And what I mean by that is, first of all, what's pretty cool, you know, you can rename this fields here, and you will also see it here, right here in the fields list. And the cool thing is now on the second column, I right click and then I pick show values as. See this? And now I pick percentage of client total, which is this one. And now, of course, I see the percentage and for every salesperson. And of course, I can go here now and then I can say, okay, I just want to know it for beverages. See here, like this, or for the sausages, or for the seafood. Now, for beverages, I could also right click here, and you know, I could sort it, for example, from largest to smallest. And then I see, okay, Davolio, she's ahead of the pack with 1686 for beverages, just slightly in front of Peacock for this product. Now, for seafood, for example, it's Peacock who's leading, and so on and so on. And then, of course, you can, if you want to, you can also, you know, pick this timeline here, and you can check it out for 2009 and 2010 and so on and so on. So I have all kinds of possibilities to work with if you want to work with. See, this to 10, and you can have kind of a ranking from the year perspective. Now, one last thing, I want to remove this timeline here now. And what I'm going to do now is I'm also gonna remove this amounts here, the second, on purpose, because what I want you guys to see is one more thing. See this order date here, which we have in our source. You know, I will just drag and drop into the row section, the pivot table. Now what happens? You see the year, the quarter, and the month here as a new field. See? So you create new fields: the year, the quarter, the month. You can use these fields from right now. Now I will remove the quarter, I will remove the month, and I will also remove the initial order date. Okay, it's cool. Now I'm gonna take this year into the count. See if this counts here. And the cool thing about this stuff is the following. So first of all, I'm gonna remove the grand total here. I don't need it now. I go to design, grand totals, and offer rows and columns. So they're gone. Now check out here. You got the years here, and you got the salesperson with the amounts. Now I pick the amount, and once again I drag and drop it into the value section as I did earlier. Now I'm gonna right click it here and I say number format, so I give it the appropriate format like currency and like this. Now you will say, okay, what's the deal? Because it's the same amount. Now here it's a partial amount. I'm gonna click here yearly change. Let's call it like this. Now here's the change to the name. Here is it here to here. I'm gonna right click here as I did earlier, and what I'm gonna pick now is show values as, and then I say difference from, and I pick not the salesperson. Oh, sorry, not the salesperson. I pick the year, the order date, and previous. Now here's the year and here's previous. Now if I confirm now, I'm gonna see 2009, I'm gonna see 2010, and this is the change. Now check it out. Here we got this 778, and this one, this is 970 more. Here, for example, we got the loss of more than 1100 euro. So you can now, with this, I show you again, show videos as difference from, you now can make kind of insights like this, and you say, you know, it's kind of here, it's kind of show videos as, it's kind of how to say the change here from the previous year. Or if you like to, you can easily go here and then you just pick percentage difference from, and then once again you say year, previous, and you confirm and see this like this here, for example, 778 and 1748 is an increase of 124% here, and here you got a decrease of 70% to the previous year. And this are calculations with pivot table, without formula or without an editor.
I hope you guys got some insights on how to use this data model for Excel. Now if you have any questions, please write down in the comments or can comment down below. Do you use the data model for Excel? Do you use it for Power BI? Do you have any further questions regarding this data model? If you like this video, please leave a thumbs up or subscribe to my channel if you want more of these videos. I see you in the next one. Bye bye. Take care.